Hi, everyone. Welcome to the All Things Amyloid podcast. I'm your host, Mackenzie, an amyloidosis patient and founder of Mackenzie's Mission. For our very first episode, we thought it would be interesting to start with an introduction to who I am, why I founded Mackenzie's Mission, and what you can expect from the All Things Amyloid podcast. To start with my disease journey, it really started back during my senior year of college. I remember coughing up a small amount of blood, and I thought, okay, this is definitely not normal. I grabbed my iPhone flashlight and looked in the back of my throat, and sure enough, there was a lump. Fast forward 2 years, and a biopsy of my throat revealed the presence of amyloid tissue, prompting a bone marrow biopsy, and ultimately giving me a formal diagnosis of AL amyloidosis in April of 2017. I was only 23 years old at the time. Shortly thereafter, I underwent a stem cell transplant. And it was really at this time when I came to fully appreciate the need for more awareness and supporting medical research around this disease. At the time, amyloid was largely unknown, and there were a few treatments that were available at the time, but nothing like we have today. So it really prompted me to take action on this. And that was when I decided to found Mackenzie's Mission. So, Mackenzie's Mission really has three main focuses in terms of what it is that we strive to achieve. First and foremost, we want to support our patients, whether that be through education or connecting them to other resources and other organizations in the amyloidosis community. Another hugely important aspect of our work is fundraising to support research on amyloidosis. There's a statistic that only 11% of amyloidosis research was supported by public grants. So it was really important for us to be able to support all of the wonderful research that was going on in the medical community for amyloidosis. And then the last really pillar of our efforts is medical education. And we do that through the Amyloidosis Speakers Bureau. Our goal with this is to provide a kind of a complementary education to what's going on, whether that be in medical school and residencies, PA school, to what they're learning about amyloidosis. We provide a patient with amyloidosis to go and speak to these students and to really hope that we're able to leave a durable impression that going forward, when these students are now in the clinic and their doctors or their PAs and they're seeing patients and they have patients where the dots just don't seem to connect, that they think back to that patient who came and spoke to them and they think about amyloidosis because the urgency to raise awareness is greater than ever. Today, we have effective treatments that are available to patients, but these treatments are no good if we can't get the disease diagnosed in the first place. So there's been tremendous effort underway to not only educate the public, but also the medical field about amyloidosis. And we feel that this podcast is a great complement to those efforts. We hope that with this podcast that we can reach the general public, but we can also reach medical providers. And by reaching them, we're able to just raise awareness about amyloidosis in a new way. This is where the All Things Amyloid podcast comes in. We're the first dedicated channel to amyloidosis. We're going to have lots of guests on our podcast, including patients, caregivers, expert clinicians on amyloidosis, as well as some of the other patient advocacy groups that are in this space. We'll have a wide variety of topics that you can expect to hear, whether that be talking about the path to diagnosis, what the current treatment landscape looks like, or even what it's like to be a patient, what it's like to be a caregiver. How do you adapt to a new life with a disease like this? And then excitingly, we'll also have some clinical discussions from medical experts on topics such as how amyloidosis differs from multiple myeloma, or how cardiac amyloidosis can span both AL and ATTR types, even things like neurologic complications from amyloidosis. So there's going to be a lot of really interesting different topics that you can expect to hear on the podcast moving forward. So with that, I want to thank you for listening to our first episode of the All Things Amyloid podcast. I hope you find our podcast informative. I hope that you'll share it with others. And if you want to learn more about the work we're doing at Mackenzie's Mission, you can visit 713.org.
We'd also like to thank AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals, Alexion Pharmaceuticals, Alnylam Pharmaceuticals, and Bridge Biopharma for their sponsorship to help raise awareness about amyloidosis. We hope you stay tuned for future episode drops. Thanks for listening.